This is The Rumor Report with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
So listen up.
Well, 20 years later, Jeen-Yuhs, a Kanye trilogy, the first part has hit Netflix. And a lot of people are getting some insight into Kanye and how things first kicked off for him. So they're showing him previewing the song All Falls Down in the offices of Rockefeller. And basically, he was seen as a producer, but he really wanted to get signed. And he wanted to get signed on Rockefeller Records. He decides he wants to bum rush the office, play his music, and didn't seem like people were paying too much attention to this hit song. Listen to this.
Couldn't afford a cop, so she named her daughter Alexis. She had hair so long that it looked like weed. Then she cut it all off, now she look like E. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female addicted to retail. And well, man, I promise.
I'm doing well in yourself. Yo, I was going to ask you about this anyway, but now I'm asking you about it in a different context.
That was such a very interesting part of the documentary because it really shows that it does not matter what other people think of you. It's about what you think of yourself, and that's why your dreams are your dreams, and nobody else is supposed to believe in them. But I wonder how other execs in that video feel after seeing how they fronted on Kanye. And I wonder, do you have a vendetta against the industry if you're Kanye forever because of how they fronted on you?
But I think it should make you want to go harder. I mean, I think all of us have been in a situation where somebody doubted us.
No, they didn't doubt him. They just straight up was ignoring him. And by the way, that becomes a hit. That became a hit record. And this is after Kanye has produced the blueprint and everything else.
But he wasn't a rapper. He was a producer at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just think about how many doors closed in your face. And you tell us all the time. You tell me all the time about people said you would never make it. You'll never be on radio.
I don't. And guess what?
You'll never be on television.
And guess what? I just let that hurt go. I hated them niggas.
You still do?
No, I don't. I really don't. Why? I refuse to block them on Instagram. They gonna see this shit.
And you know, I saw a lot of people saying that they knew this was a hit song right away, and how could anybody not know that? Because it do sound dope, but you know, they were at work in the middle of the workday. He did try to bum rush the offices, and I'm sure they also knew him well enough that they're like, you know, sometimes you know people too well, so maybe you don't take it as seriously because you know them.
True, but it's a record label, though. So when we say they at work,
no, I agree.
Yeah, it's a record label. And you know why you see when Kanye, you can walk up to Kanye in the street and start rapping and he'll listen.
Yes.
It's because of that, because he knows how it feels to be fronted on.
Well, that's how Big Sean got his deal. He walked up to Kanye when he was leaving the radio station rapping, and he signed him.
All right. Now, in addition to that, they also talk about the making of Izzo, H to the Izzo. And here is what that sounded like when he was working with Jay-Z on that song.
So he was playing that, then he's finna go in the other room. I was like, yo, Hov, I gotta play you one more beat. Then he looked over, he tapped me, he said, H to the Izzo, V to the Izzo, for shizzle, my dizzle used to triple down to BA. So we had to figure out the stuff he had to say in between. So it's for shizzle, my dizzle, used to dribble down to BA. Then he said, H to the Izzo, V to the Izzo. And he looked at me and said, that's the anthem, get your damn hands up. I was like, Mom, we about to blow up. We gonna blow up.
I love how invested his mom was in his craft.
Absolutely.
Too. Mom knew the lyrics, everything.
Yes, and as the more famous he got, the more he wanted his mom around him. I'm sure she kept him grounded, and she was his biggest cheerleader, as we can see in this scene with Donda.
Got a lot of confidence. Come off a little arrogant, even though you're humble and everything. But it'd be important to remember that the giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing.
So do you think I come off too arrogant?
No, come off just right. It's because it's what's inside. Because you can't be a star and not be a star. I think the way you handle yourself is really just perfect. But at the same time, if you remember, like, to stay on the ground, and you can be in the air all at the same time. That's what I think it means when it says the giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing. Everybody else sees the giant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I love that. All right, so for everybody who's been watching, that was just part one of that trilogy.
No, it's a really good
for Jeen-Yuhs.
Yeah, part one was a really good documentary. It makes you think, though, even like, you know, when somebody comes off as arrogant, right, and when they have nothing.
I get it.
That's where the humility comes from, having nothing. But when you get everything, right, that money and that power just multiplies whatever it is you already were, right?
Yeah.
So if you were arrogant, you'd be 100 times more arrogant with the money and the power.
But I think it's also when you are creative and you're doing things and people are, disrespecting your talent and disrespecting your what you create. And then when it finally pops, it's almost like you want to give a middle finger to the world.
But you gotta let that hurt go, though, right?
It's hard to.
It's like a chip. It's like a chip on your shoulder. And then seeing how much his mother impacted him, I think we all knew that. And to have her not here with him, we don't. We can't even imagine how that affects him every day.
No, 100%. But I just feel like you do have to let that hurt go, because if not, you end up just projecting that pain on other people.
You're definitely supposed to, but it's to the point where he's not. He hasn't got his answers to why, I'm sure. Like, why you ished on me? Why didn't you listen?
He just didn't get it. And does it matter? You still...
For him, it might.
Nah, you got to let that hurt go. I get it, though. But you do have to let that hurt go.
Yeah, I think it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
All right. Well, it's easy to say let that hurt go, but it's not so easy to do it all the time. All right. Well, that is your rumor report.
You should, though, for your own well-being.
You say that. But there's times, and me, myself, I don't let that issue go.
And it'll eventually cannibalize.
We know, Envy.
I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure.
It'll eventually cannibalize.
I'm sure, but I don't want to.
You gotta let it go.
No,
it's like holding your poop in.
No, when I let it out, it'll all come out.
All right, guys.
That's what you gotta do.
That's your rumor report.
Watery,
empty
diarrhea, and everything out.
Butt. Let all of that go, Envy. Empty your butt. EYB. Repeat after me. Empty your butt. That is your positive affirmation for the day. Let that go. Okay.
Empty your butt.
There you go. There you go. Don't you feel it?
No.
Don't you feel it moving through your stomach?
No, man.
You're going to have to poop in about 20 minutes.
Yo, get out of here, man. Who you giving your donkey to, man?
A scammer named Robin. Okay, Robin Folsom. She needs to come to the front of the congregation. That might be a good seminar. EYB. Empty your butt. But yes, speaking of scams, Robin Folsom, she needs to come to the front of the congregation. We'd like to have a word with her.
Guess where she's from?
And shut up.
Brooklyn or Florida? Which one?
She's neither, actually.
Really? All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.